Hello guys, it's me, Mythos, back at it again with yet another the World Arm Wrestling News. So, you already know, it's the Morning Report. And first things off, in this channel, we do mention the channels that we will talk about. And it's of course, the Aussie Arm Wrestling. With that ready, bang! He had an interview with Ivan Matyushenko. Ivan Matyushenko, he's coming back to form. Apparently, he sustained a small injury after the Camille match in 2023, and he wasn't really feeling it on the right arm. But then in these last couple of months, he's like, oh yes, bring me everybody. Well, he's not that hype when he's talking about it, but he does mention that he's stronger. He's approximately at least like 8% stronger than the last time he faced Sergey Kalinchenko in their match. And that was also the last match that he had on the right arm. And he believes that he's very close to that right arm match with Camille that he had, where he beat him 3-0, if I remember correctly. So, Ivan is pretty strong. He feels like his endurance peak level. He thinks that he has the advantage when it comes to that against Dave Chaffee. But at the same time, he believes that Dave Chaffee side pressure will probably be insane. And he also tends to believe that he might be the stronger man. But Ivan thinks that he's strong enough that he can put the brakes on, and that will be the determining factor in this match. He discussed also another very interesting topic, and it was about Denis Saplinkov. Denis Saplinkov, he is not preparing for anything right now, but he does want to start preparing. And Ivan Matyushenko kind of like was trying to push him towards that direction. Well, maybe you can take on me or Dave, you know, winner of that match, you have a match with them. But then both Aussie and Ivan are not really sure if like Saplinkov can actually be 115 kg. Right now he's 120 and he's out of shape, he hasn't really started prepping, and we really don't know exactly where his health is at either, but we know that he wants to compete. That's as much as we know, you know. So, and other very interesting topics were discussed in this live. And of course, go and support my main man, Aussie Arm Wrestler, like that shit. Check out his channel, he makes these interviews all the time, and it's epic to see. And of course, he keeps that nice timeline of about 40 minutes, so it doesn't get too much, you know. So, on to the next one, Booyakasha. We have Wagner Bortolato. Terremoto. So, Wagner Bortolato, he's talking about East versus West and how he's currently feeling. He had sustained injuries in both the right and the left arm, and it was like tendon issues that he had. Like, of course, the sport is tendon based, so I think he tore a couple of stuff, if I understood. It's like auto-dubbed. And then when it comes to him competing, he would like to do so, but he hasn't gotten any formal response. And he was also talking about how he went from very professional and strict scientific studies, and how he was like when he was younger, being a bit more in focus and precision. And right now he's almost going by feel. And he has, in a way, turned into a bit more like belief and trust. And he was also talking about how religion has helped him. So that's what he believes in, that's what he believes is helping him currently. Until we see anything from him, I can't say that it's working or not. But so far so good, he says that he's good. Let's see him on that main stage, let him prove it. It's always greater when we have multiple arm wrestlers, when we get even more tighter. They should have so many matches, they have difficulty ordering these cards, man. So, with that being said, Booyakasha, and we go to the next one.
We're about to drop 30.
I'm not done, but I am done, but I am not done. Oh, talking about being done, I'm not done. That's basically Michael Todd in a nutshell, and that's what my man, my myth, Tom Stubblebine is talking about. He made this video talking about the two shorts that Michael has posted. He posted the first one being about him cutting weight, and then he posted also the second one. Let's see if we have it anywhere over here. Poo, 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 poo. Oh yeah, it was in the beginning. And then he was also talking about the being in the super heavyweight still. So two very conflicting videos. I have put down my thoughts in the comment section. I believe that if you can compete at the highest level without sacrificing it all and pulling Saplinkov, where we only see you like once every 2 years because of insane, insane pancake consumption. So yeah, if you can still perform at the highest level without like sacrificing it all and even risking like heart attacks, liver failure, stuff like that, then go for it, man. I just want you to compete at the highest level you can, because that's epic, And especially when the old guard do it, it's even more cooler, because it shows how much you can push this sport forward. Then on that same topic, on another topic, I mean, we have the East vs West 23 jerseys. They're out. And then right here, you can write like your name on it if you would like. And it was Tom covering this, really cool. And Tom is actually wearing a jersey. So very nice if you ask me. So if you go into the affiliate link that I have down below, you can of course then get your East vs West 23 jersey. And if you are going to the event, how cool wouldn't that be if you have the jersey with the Germany country, and then you have your name on the back? Really freaking cool if you ask me. That being said, on to the next one. And we have the Brazilian arm wrestler. This is how Devon will hook it down. He compared the practice pull that he had with George Zeranov and how he was looking pretty good even in a hook. And then he compared with Vitali and how he was flash pinning. Let's check it right here and listen to a bit of what he says.
And when we looked at the Vitali versus Zeranov match, there was absolutely no hook. Just complete flash pin. Just complete Vitali opening Zeranov's fingers in all the rounds. And of course,
yeah, just like Brazilian arm wrestler said right there. And I believe myself that, you shouldn't compare, and he says it as well, you shouldn't compare the practice pull with a real match because it's very different. But even if we were to compare it, I believe that Vitali's style, because it's like top roll dominant style, of course he will flash pin Georgi Zeranov. And then I believe that even Devon could absolutely crack Zeranov if he wanted to. I think that he was just practicing that position and going into that position against a really strong hook puller, just to see exactly where Zeranov's level is at, Devon likes to do that in practice, and he kind of also downloads different stuff and different feels just to know where he is against you. Really tricky bastard. And on to the next one. Hard man, big man. He continues doing the practice pulling, he continues lifting weights and improving into the arm wrestling specifics. And I mean, look at this. I don't know, I keep flip-flopping because, by the way, this is the show strength, so like and subscribe. And if we go to the next video, sorry, not the next video, it's a couple of videos away. What? I didn't put it in the main list? Blasphemy. Right here. No, that's wrong. You will see all the analytics. That's secret. Trado secret. Where is it? Premium. Yeah, I'll flex on you first. No, I'm just kidding. Where is it? Oh, new video. Epic. It wasn't a Brazilian arm wrestler video. Maybe it was from yesterday. Perhaps it was from yesterday. So, like and subscribe to my main man. it wasn't. Am I dreaming? Oh no, not again. Okay, I swear I had seen a video on Leonidas Arcona pulling with a guy with bands and like 2 arms, and then he was like being very competitive. He's training a lot like Devon, and then they were also doing an exercise where the other guy was like pulling with his whole body, and then Leonidas was like using a cup motion, and that was crazy. I was like, what is going on? He's getting that hook, that arm lane very strong. So maybe he will try and just hook the guy? That sounds crazy because his hand is so massive. I think that he can crack Leonidas. That's what I think at first. But then I'm thinking, because Bogdan video that he made about press, he was talking about how important the fingers are when it comes to pressing. So, if Leonidas Arcona is getting really strong on those fingers to like do some kind of like, you know, outside maneuver into a press, because he's so tall, so maybe if he gets him disconnected and then presses like Hermes, maybe that would be like crazy work. Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on, man. These guys, way too massive, way too strong, and way too brilliant. This match is getting tighter by the day, you know? I love it. I really love it. On to the next one. Booyakasha, and we have Benji Maku. Here with Leonidas and Matt Nash. That's how it starts and that's how it ends as well. Yes. And in all the in-between points, we see some practice pulling between people from the event and champions. They were discussing hand lengths. And as always, go and check out Benji's work. He's making great, amazing BTS of these events. And I'm really looking forward to your stuff when it comes to East vs West 23. Because I have heard that it will be even bigger. Oh my god. Oh man. If I could, I would come to the event. But the timing will be a bit rougher. But this event sounds crazy. East vs West 23. Oh my god. All over. Talking about really interesting prospects. The next video, and maybe you heard by his voice, Booyakasha, Show Strength Podcast with Terry Hollands. Now this guy, I knew him a little bit from Neil Pickup, and then he goes into depth in this video that he was basically a maniac, just like Brian Shaw, when it comes to training and structure. And they have similar attributes, and he's a little bit different, of course. They don't have the same gifts, but they're both very gifted in the strongman community. And now Terry is coming in, and he's coming in hot, and he wants all the strongmen. He's like, bring them all. I'll beat you all, and then I'll beat the arm wrestler. Really exciting. I really love to see this interview because we get to know way more about the man and his mentality about arm wrestling. But we also get to feel him as a character. And all these strongmen, I swear, they are so good showmen as well. Like they know how to talk trash. At some point, he was talking trash about Robert Oberst, and it was feeling like the most serious yet the most like, how to explain, ridiculous. Not ridiculous. Like it was hilarious. It was a bit absurd. Like he was talking about Robert Oberst that he has. That has been like training consistently for arm wrestling. He was like, yeah, I don't think it's a match, you know? They better put me against someone else. I don't think he wants this smoke. It was crazy. This is so fun to see. So yeah, I really hope that we get to see him really soon. Either at like an Arm Wars, because I know Neil Pickup does great cards like that with Titans. Or, I mean, an East versus West event perhaps. We have a lot of cards that are like in between. We have like the really good stacked cards, and then we have some cards that do not have the main names on them. Maybe if you put him against an interesting opponent like Robert Oberst in that kind of card, that would be pretty cool if you ask me. Neither here nor there. The last video for today, it's by the OG News. It's by Pradeep himself, the Arm Wrestling News. Like that shit, subscribe. to the OG news chat. He's covering currently the situation that has happened with John Brzenk and what he thinks has happened, because John Brzenk, a lot of people are saying that he looks smaller, he looks weaker, he shouldn't come back. And then he was discussing actually about how Hermes himself, he said that when he was pulling with John inside, he was feeling really strong, like we covered in a couple of videos ago. So yeah, they are talking about how this whole situation with John Brzenk, it's possibly interesting to see him return, but give him matches that are like that he's the favorite to win. That was Pradeep's opinion. I myself believe that because John Brzenk ultimately is a competitor, I think he gets more hungry and more like fire in him if there is some sort of challenge in the match, if you know what I mean. Like, if you're a competitive person, if you like get handed a very easy opportunity, like something that you know you will win, you're not really hyped up to like train for it or like work for it, and even the win doesn't really mean a lot. So I believe that if Brzenk is to compete, then perhaps we should give him not a 50-50 match, perhaps a match that is favorite, like 60-70, but still a challenge just so he can feel that nice, yeah, I'm in the main stage, I'm beating this guy, and the crowd can see me do it, so he can just hype up the whole situation. And that's why I love this shit, because we have John Brzenk and we have other great legends, and when they can fire up in that main stage, East versus West, you know, the East versus West arm wrestling, oh my god, shit, epic, so epic. So yeah, for more details on Pradeep's thoughts, of course, you go to his main video and you check that shit out, you subscribe, you like that shit, and that's pretty much it.
But not going all out.
There we go.
Someone who is
Strong, very strong. Lastly, it wouldn't be a Mythos video if we didn't plug the main lead, East vs West arm wrestling, with that Hermes Gasparini thoughts on Brian and Leonidas. Genetically, my friend, Brian is the favorite. He's incredibly strong on the table, but if he doesn't use perfect technique, he will lose, because Leonidas has much more experience. That's what he thinks. That's what I believe as well. But I do believe at the same time that Brian is the fright brain. And that's why you go and you either buy the season pass to get all the events, or you buy the East vs West 23 card, because then you can see if Hermes' prediction will come true, or if the fright brain, Brian Shaw, the big, the great strongman, now arm wrestler, running through Leonidas. I really don't think he will run through Leonidas. It's a very interesting match, 50-50 in my eyes, truthfully. And that's why I'm so excited to see it. And that's why every time I get to talk about it, I get excited. Like, this match to me might actually be more hype, and this might be controversial, than the Devon versus Vitaly match. Because honestly, in my eyes, that match will probably be pretty one-sided. I know, we are all talking about a war, but the closer we get to the event, and the more I see from Devon's side, the more I start to remember that, come on man, Michael Todd stonewalled Vitaly in the center, and even Hermes, and I know he was a truck driver, but still, even Hermes, with like 3 months of training the Rise and the Pro Nation, he could stop Vitaly in the center. I don't know, man, if they can do it, I have a feeling that Devon will do it as well. The only thing will be if Devon trains way too much and he comes in like burnt out from the training, because that's a real thing. But if he doesn't do that, if he picks correctly just like he usually does, my god. That's why Brian Shaw versus Leonidas sounds way more exciting. And we have more exciting matches, like I can't argue against that. Like if we go to check the main card, and I know this video is pretty long, but at this point it's so long, we might keep it rolling for a bit longer, you know? So let me check it right here, boom, 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 boom. If we go check the main card, like, holy, Leonidas versus Brian Shaw. Ivan Matushenko versus Dave Chafee. The Manifesto versus David Samusha. The match that Samusha will get wrecked on. Samusha is getting beat, yo. It's the first time in a long time. It's about time. If you don't count that Nurdalet match, because you know that was controversial. And I don't know how you feel about that match, but I have a lot of opinions. So, we even have Artem Marza versus Alizan Muratov. Egley versus Azra. And the more I see of Azra, or Azra, I don't know what she's called. At first, I didn't really have it as a match, and I still perhaps don't really have it as a match. I still think that Egley is way too strong and technical for this category, but it might be a bit more interesting than I thought at first, because Azra is pushing some really good weight, but that doesn't always translate correctly. The GOAT versus Artur Makarov, the genetic freak. Yeah, so many good matches. Like, if you haven't bought East versus West 23, then what the are you doing? The disrespect. The disrespect. That's it for me. You know it. 5% off, code MythosArts, and the rest is history. If you want, join me tomorrow for yet another report. Otherwise, have a nice, bright day, and see you around. Booyah!